Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we've got the sound system demo on the 2023 Genesis GV60 and its 17-speaker Bang & Olufsen audio system. This is going to be an in-depth review. We're going to take a look at how the infotainment system works, take a look at audio adjustments, controls, inputs, speaker locations, and then we're going to go out on the road and listen to these sample tracks while we're rolling, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end. Now, if you don't care about any of that stuff at the beginning and you just want to hear the music, click ahead in the video. We've got chapters to get you right to the tunes. And I recommend listening with headphones so you can hear exactly what I hear in the driver's seat. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. Entirely new model for 2023, the Genesis GV60. Entirely electric and, in this performance trim, entirely fun to drive as well. Very, very calm, cool, and collected when you're just cruising, but you put your foot down on the accelerator and this thing really goes. So if you do want to see more on the GV60, check the link in the description. We've got a DM review, a little highway range test, all those will be down there. Now we always do these tests with lossless, uncompressed WAV files on a USB stick plugged directly into the system, and high-quality Roland binaural microphones in both of my ears, giving you the most realistic audio demo on YouTube. We also do the test with the sound settings set to their factory defaults just as the sound engineers intended, so let's take a look at those now. Pretty nice infotainment system here from Genesis. You can reach up and touch it, or you can use this rotary knob, and I really appreciate having that because the screen's a little far away. When you're just cruising along, you can simply bring your hand down here and make your adjustments. I will say that it's a little far away, even for me sitting back in my seat. I have to kind of reach my hand uncomfortably forward. I would like if it were right here, be easier to turn, but that's where the shifter is. Let's take a look here. We're in the media screen now. We're actually going to go to setup and then over to sound. You're first greeted with a premium sound menu. Oops, I'm going to go down. Premium sound. First off, Bang & Olufsen. This is going to adjust your sound mode, if you will. So it starts with reference. That's going to give you the exact sort of sound experience that the original recording has. So it's going to sound as though you're in a sound studio. And then you've got surround, which is going to be more of an artificial surround effect right there. So let's turn that up and listen to those both. Both modes. Reference does sound a little better. Some of my songs I was listening to in surround were a bit hollow. Some things I like and don't like though already about this system, and I've been testing it for a few days. I like that you can make adjustments between reference and surround without the music stopping. I think in systems where there's a break in between, it doesn't sound as nice and it's harder to compare. I like how there's a gradual change between the two. I also like being able to adjust the amount of surround. So that is very good there. I feel like there was something I was going to mention that I didn't like. Oh, yeah, it was the amount of volume controls. Look, you scroll all the way up. It goes all the way to 75 for volume. But anything under 20 is virtually useless. Listen, here's off. You barely hear the music until 20. You pretty much have to get up to about 50 to really get some good listening volume. So it's kind of strange that they needed 75 different clicks, but I suppose it's nice to be able to really fine-tune exactly where you want your volume to be. All right, below those two sound modes, you have speed-dependent volume control. That's going to make it so as you get going faster and there's more ambient noise, the elements of the music lift up, and then a startup maximum volume. I kind of like that, so if you were jamming out the night before, getting into your car the next morning, hungover, or just calm, quiet, cool, and collected, the music doesn't blast your ears. Below that, you get to Beosonic, or Beosonic, B-E-O-Sonic. Bang & Olufsen is probably what they're going for there. And this is what the GV60 provides for an equalizer. Now, I don't love it, but it is kind of cool. So rather than treble, mid-range, bass, or really just treble and bass, they give you 4 quadrants here. You got bright, energetic, warm, and relaxed. And they kind of show you a little cheat here that if you're going toward energetic, that's treble up and bass up. If you go down toward warm, that's bass up, treble down. Relaxed is all the way bass down, treble down. And bright is bass down, treble up. Their idea is people would respond better to saying, oh, I kind of like a bright sound and a little energetic, rather than just saying I like the treble and the bass to go up. And that's fine. I'm all for democratizing audio adjustments and making it more digestible for your average listener, but I would still like to have conventional adjustments for bass, mid-range, treble. Really, in a luxury vehicle like this, I would like to see a 9-band equalizer. I think that would be the best. So it's a bit unfortunate to me that you have to adjust your bass and treble using this deal here. But let's turn the music up and kind of listen to some of the adjustments. Like I said, I would prefer just to have kind of just normal treble mid-range bass, but it is cool to at least have this. Below that, you have adjustment for front, rear, left, right, fader, and balance. And you can't actually just move the dot around the car, interestingly. You can do that with the center knob. So if you put it in the center, use the scroller, oops, you can click and move it back exactly or forward exactly how much you want, and then click to move it right to left. But you can't just use your finger and pick around. It jumps right to the corners, which is kind of strange to me. And that is actually it for audio adjustments. For audio controls in the GV60, you got a nice volume scroller here. It feels nice, works nicely, especially if you're using the rotary knob. Then you've got a volume rocker on the right side of the wheel. For track selection, you can use these physical buttons down here so you can track. You can tune using this scroller knob. You can use the screen if you're on the media screen or radio screen. And you can use this little thumbprint adjustment on the right side of the wheel. So lots of different ways to do tracks, and I appreciate that they kept some physical controls in this very futuristic feeling model. Audio inputs in the GV60. Let's go to radio and turn this down real quick. You do have AM, which is something, I'll get back here, something you don't often see in electric vehicles. So it's cool to have AM. You got FM, AM, Sirius XM satellite radio. You've got Bluetooth, obviously. Where do we want to go here? That's what I'm looking for. Bluetooth, USB-C, no USB-A ports, support for wired Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto, but no wireless on either of those. And that is it. So what does that mean you're missing? Well, this is a bit of a frustration to me. There's only one USB port for data, and it's way down there. And because you have to plug in wired for Apple CarPlay, you've got this beautiful interior, very futuristic car, and yet you have to drag a cable from here all the way to your device. I don't love that. There's no good phone place down here. So, I mean, I guess maybe you could tuck your device up into this little compartment that comes down and plug it in and drag the cable. But let's be honest, you probably want your phone at least somewhat accessible to you while you're driving, even if you're not going to use it. And you've got this awesome wireless device charger here, but you can't actually use it if you want to use Apple CarPlay. So I think it's a big miss for a car like this, as futuristic as it is, to not have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I could leave the omission of a USB-A port and a 3.5mm auxiliary input jack. Also doesn't look like you have any streaming services built in. Maybe that's something they could add in, but no Pandora or Spotify or anything like that built in here. Speaker locations. Now this is a little bit tough for me because there's no documentation out there on the web as to where all the speakers are for the GV60. I was able to find most of them, but let's talk about it. And I'm actually going to move real quick because we're getting a lot of action around here. Look at this. Even though I'm stopped and the car is in park, it's still mad at me because I didn't have my seatbelt on. That's so annoying to me. Why does it do that? Anyway, door woofer 1, mid-range 2, tweeter 3, 4 center, 5, 6, 7 in the back, 8 woofer, 9, 10, I think there's a mid-range and a tweeter here, 11, 12, 13 on the other side. Opening up the hatch. You've got 14, 15 in the CD pillars here, 16 subwoofer. So the 17th speaker is in one of two places. It's either a dual coil subwoofer there, making 17, or it's up front in the center speaker there, and that center is actually 2 built into one. It didn't sound like it was 2, it sounded like it was just 1. It's possible they've got a mid-range and a tweeter up there, making 17. If I can confirm with Genesis PR as to where all the speakers are, I will let you all know after this. I reached out to Genesis PR and they sent me this diagram, which does confirm that the front dash speaker there is both a mid-range and a tweeter, so that is the 17th. Okay, well, I'm gonna get this stuff put away and we're gonna get out on the road. overall, I'm very happy with the sound system in here. I've been listening to a lot of music. We did the members only test before this, and I had a lot of my favorite music cranked way up. Some of my favorite elements are the tightness and the crispness. You get some mid-range sounds that really hit strong, and it hits the note and it gets out of the way. The silence is just as important as the noise in a situation like this. And when you're running with a fairly quiet electric vehicle like this, you can really take advantage of that silence as well. It's nice. My only complaints are that it could have more power way down low, and I'm talking really from subwoofers. Door woofers aren't cutting it. It needs a rumbly power through your seat. It could really benefit from a little bit more rumbly subwoofer power. And there are a few songs that I turn up, this one included, that when I'm hearing the snare drum hits, there's a hollowness there, and I don't love that. I'm not sure if that could be tuned out or not. My last critique, and these are the type of critiques I save for real luxury systems like this, but the front-facing stage could be a little bit more pronounced. For a luxury vehicle like this, a lot of people are going to be expecting the stage to be very much in front of them. You're not getting that quite so much in this car. But a lot of nitpicks there. Let's turn the bass all the way up and see what we have. See, there's some sloppiness right there. I hear it already. I don't know what's going to happen when we turn this up, but that's not great. Why is there bass coming through up front? It should all be low down. That sloppiness is a bit concerning. Weird. My thoughts on the Benn Olufsen system here in the Genesis GV60. I really like the sound system. I do. It's got a lot of greatness to it. There are a few of those things that are just barely keeping it out of the S tier. An A tier sound system, especially one like this, A+ rating, is going to sound really good across all sorts of music, and I thoroughly enjoy listening to music in this car. It's just a half step away from the wow factor and the amazement of an S-tier system that there's truly nothing better than. So this is getting an A+. It's like an 89%. It's about as close as you can get to an S-tier without getting there, but you just need a little bit more to get there. But ultimately speaking, if it weren't for some of those weird oddities, which can probably be tuned out and fixed in most of it in tuning, still really like the system. Thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the GV60, check the link in the description, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.